Welcome to MetaPhy.
Let's go!
Good morning. This fine Thursday morning, November 30th, last day of November. Can you believe it? Bananas to me. Bananas to me. How fast this year has gone. We're just coming off of the beaver moon. How did that treat you? Everybody got in their feels over this one, right? It was a pretty powerful moon. You know, there's been a lot of powerful moons this year. I think more so than normal, in my opinion. I don't know. Some may disagree. I feel like I'm coming down with something. I don't know how I would have gotten it. But I'm just all, getting a little congested. We've got a lot to talk about. A lot of witch news today. And we're going to talk a little bit about quantum witchcraft as well. So let's see what I have on the desktop. Oh, poor Miss Little Taylor Swift in the news today. Article written by WND yesterday, November 29th. Probably attracting demons. Probably. An exorcist warns against attending the Taylor Swift concerts. The demons will take deep note of what she's doing and how she's doing it and who she's influencing. So Taylor Swift concerts are probably attracting demonic activity. One religious leader warned. Father Daniel Rehill, who serves as the exorcist of the Diocese of Nashville. I believe Nashville, that's where Taylor and her family are from. Claims that Swift has incorporated elements of witchcraft into her performances. It just cracks me up every time I read about it. I'm sorry. Rehill said in a video for the church pop that witches try to harness energy, true, with the use of fire, black capes, and spherical objects that represent the earth's element. I mean, what's a witch without her black cape? I ask you. Rehill explained that although Swift is an incredibly talented and influential artist, it would be best for impressionable young girls to steer clear of her concerts. The demons will take deep note of what she's doing and how she's doing it, who she's influencing. So when they imitate these rituals with these orbs and these black capes that look like something you'd find in the woods, because I guess that's where you go for your black capes nowadays, is the woods. Even if her intent was not to practice any witchcraft or do any of the incantations, she is probably attracting a lot of demons to her concert. Rehill added that those that attend are putting themselves in a position where they could be attacked by demonic forces. Not saying that's going to happen to everybody, but you're definitely putting yourself in a very dangerous situation. Swift previously attempted to make light of sorcery allegations by joking about the plane incident that happened in Argentina. But she says she's never going to beat the sorcery allegations. She said she had a shattered heart in response to that 23-year-old woman who died of heat stroke at that concert. That was more important news to her than the witchcraft. It's ridiculous. But you know what? She's going to be bigger than all that. Not even worried about Miss Taylor. So in Scotland, remember, I think I reported last time, which, by the way, I didn't film last week. Thursday, it was Thanksgiving, and, we didn't do a MetaPhy. But the week before that, I talked about this article in Scotland. And this article, written just 22 hours ago, so yesterday, Plans to pardon thousands convicted of witchcraft in Scotland are dropped. Witches of Scotland was hoping to find another MSP to take on the campaign after the previous politician was forced to drop the proposals. Plans to pardon thousands of people historically convicted of witchcraft in Scotland have been dropped. The SNP's Natalie Dawn brought forward a private member's bill last year. Right the historical wrong of witchcraft conventions. She said the bill was also about influencing the gendered and patriarchal attitudes that still exist today. But the plans hit a setback after the MSP for Renfrewshire North became children's minister under Humza Yousaf's government earlier this year. That's due to a rule in Holyrood that says Scottish ministers cannot carry private members' bills. Campaign group Witches of Scotland is hoping that another MSP will take on the legislation, despite having the support of the Scottish government under Nicola Sturgeon. One is yet to be found. There are around 2,500 people who were convicted of witchcraft in the nearly 200 years the law was in force, which is and it's just under 90% women. In total, around 4,000 Scots were accused of the crime, which was in law until 1736. So hopefully they'll find another representative and they will, get that on the... It's important to get that on the books. It just kind of sets the record straight. You know what I mean? This is news out of, I believe it's Cambodia. No, Ghana. This is out of Ghana. 2 days ago, November 28th, witchcraft bill. You can't accuse anyone of being a witch. Co-sponsor of the witchcraft bill, Godfred Sidhu Jassa, says the bill does not hinder any religious group from practicing as professional witch hunters. However, the bill does prevent them from declaring anyone a witch. According to him, the action of declaring people as witches has led to the killing of innocent old women in some parts of the country. And it's very confusing. It's a lot like some of our laws over here. If you read the provisions of the bill in its entirety, there is actually no issue about who a professional witch hunter is. The wording of the bill says that someone who professes by using sorcery, black magic, or other related practices to be able to judge who a witch is falls into that category. So, if you use any of those processes to be able to find who a witch is under the law, you fall under a witch hunter. Clear as mud. Mr. Jassa, who serves as a member of the parliament for the Wa East constituency, explained that every Ghanaian is free to practice whatever religion they choose, and that the bill would not dictate what is religiously accepted. But we say you must stop accusing anybody of being a witch. That the law will not allow. Go ahead and practice, but don't accuse anybody. He mentioned the bill would rectify these accusations and preserve life. This is in response to July 4th sentencing of 2 women to 12 years imprisonment each for beating to death an old woman that they accused of being a witch. July 23rd, 2020, the 90-year-old woman was murdered over witchcraft accusations. We're pretty damn lucky over here. Okay, we're pretty damn lucky. The US, the UK, Canada, still free to practice. We don't have to worry about getting the shit beat out of us. I love this. This is my favorite article today. This was published on the 21st. Israelis use witchcraft to defeat Hamas. Love it. Love it. Got to love it. In a clip that went viral on social media, a photo of a Hamas leader of Hamas leaders, including Ismail Haniyeh, who is the chairman of the Hamas's political movement. It showed him a photo of him in the middle of candles placed in the shape of the Star of David. The person in the footage also held an incense stick. To hell, you say? And was moving it around the photo of a Hamas leader. A user posted the video on X and wrote, "Occupation became a mockery. Intelligence failed to determine the locations of the tunnels. Yahya al-Sinwar and Abu Ubaidah, and now they resort to magic and the Kabbalah." And there's the video, and the link will be below, so you'll be able to bring that up. And look, the photo that they're using is on a cell phone. I'm sure the American witches will have various feelings over that one. Video gained massive interaction online with over 135,000 views and hundreds of comments and reposts. Despite the ground operation and continuous forces airstrikes on the Gaza Strip since October 7th, the Israeli government failed to detect or release any of its civilians taken hostage by the Hamas military group. And here's the thing. Was it not just days later that they had the ceasefire and Hamas started releasing hostages? I'm just saying. Timelines match up. Just saying. On October 7th, Hamas announced the Al-Aqsa flood operation against the Israeli occupation, taking over military bases and hostages. Israel launched attacks against Gaza, killing over 13,300 people, 5,500 of those being children. So we continue to watch that mess go down. So, don't know if you've ever heard of the Devil's Church, but scientists explain the physics behind the witchcraft of the Devil's Church. Article by Newsweek, November 28th. There's a little video of the Devil's Church. Devil's Church cave in Finland, used for centuries for sound-based rituals, has unique acoustic properties. The cave, also known as Pyrinkirko, was a gathering place for local sages to contact the spirit world. Scientists have now investigated these acoustic properties according to a paper in Open Archaeology. Researchers found that the cave has a strong resonance phenomenon due to a standing wave of sound bouncing between its walls. This amplifies and lengthens any noises generated at a frequency between 219 and 232 hertz. One famous sage, Canalanian, used the cave for healing rituals involved loud yelling, stomping. The study suggests the cave's unique acoustic shape and believes the experience associated with it. I talk about resonance in my book, The Quantum Awakening, and the benefit, and I believe I may touch at it in the Quantum Witch as well, regarding rituals. You may even hear me talk about resonance during healing rituals on Wednesday. The Devil's Cave's been used for centuries as a gathering place for local sages to contact the spirit world. It's a 112-foot long cave used by shamans for drumming sessions and sound-based rituals. The cave's sacred use may be due to its strange acoustic properties. The researchers took acoustic measurements in the cave, finding that it had a strong resonant phenomenon. This was because of a standing wave of sound between the two parallel walls, generating a ringing tone of sound at frequencies of between 219 hertz and 232 hertz. This essentially means that any noises generated in these frequencies are amplified and lengthened inside the cave. And this tone stays audible after loud, instantaneous broadband noises such as balloon pops, hand claps, or drum beats. The sages are thought to have hit rocks with objects, shouted, shotguns, sang, jumped around inside the cave, which would have generated the resonant tone. The cave responds to one of the three sung tones, the one matching the resonant frequency, by amplifying it throughout the singing. And it has long been believed, theorized, okay, that resonance, okay, we get that through the ancients. You'll see that in ancient cultures with the throat singing, okay, in the okay, you know what I'm saying. It has long been theorized that that is one of the key frequencies. That is how you connect to the quantum. According to folklore, Kinolanen would take his patients to the church to talk with the devil about the causes and cures of their ailments. This kind of healing ritual often included loud yelling, stomping, shooting, and banging. Such a distinctive resonance is perhaps one of the reasons Purinkurko has become important to the historical sages and contemporary practitioners, as well as all those who have used the place over time. Study of acoustics gives new tools for examining and understanding the religious beliefs and experiences reported in Purinkurko and similar places. Interesting. You know, every day, we get articles that just take us one step closer to proving magic, to proving witchcraft, proving the metaphysical. One step closer. Popular mechanics. Scientists think space-time may have come from magic. Now, I brought this article up, and it is like the article that I brought up, but I wanted to talk about the quantum property of magic and what that means. Okay. So I'm going to read you this excerpt out of this Popular Mechanics article, all right? In the quantum world, magic is a measure that describes how hard it is for a regular, everyday, non-quantum computer to fully simulate a quantum state. Specifically, they show mathematically that a chaotic system like a black hole will tend toward its most magical, hard to simulate state. Every time they have a theory, okay? Every time they have a mathematical theory, they run it through a computer, a non-quantum computer. If it cannot be reproduced on a regular, everyday non-quantum computer, then it's considered a magical property. So, basically, in a nutshell, when it comes to physics, right now, magic and the magical property are those things that cannot be explained or cannot be reproduced on a non-quantum computer. Ghostly physics. Now, this I write about in the Quantum Awakening book, and I'll read to you what I write. And this is talking about quantum entanglement. So in referring to quantum entanglement, Einstein famously described it as a spooky action at a distance. When two particles become entangled, their states become linked in such a way that the state of one particle instantaneously influences the state of the other, regardless of the physical distance between them. This phenomenon challenges our traditional understanding of space and time, suggesting a level of interconnectedness that transcends our classical notions. Now, the reason that is in my book is this. What does all this mean? This means, in theory, not only can our energy travel and exist in multiple places, but we can also connect and become one with other energies as well. And we're going to go into this in my classes in January. This is how distance Reiki works. This is how remote viewing works. This is how you hit a target when you cast a spell. Most scientists today would argue that there is no such thing as the supernatural, only aspects of nature that have yet to be explained adequately. And you know what? I don't disagree with that. If a dark cloud suddenly appears in the sky, blame pressure differences and wind velocity patterns, not sorcerers casting a spell. Why then did Albert Einstein, a credible scientist if there ever was one, find aspects of the quantum physics ghostly? In particular, he deemed the phenomenon of quantum entanglement, where separate particles are represented by a common wave function, spooky actions at a distance. He was aghast that the measured state of one particle could instantly determine that of the other, as if they could read each other's minds. Some scientists, such as Johann Zollner and William Crookes, became strong believers in the world of spirits and psychic phenomenon, which Zollner believed was the manifestation of extra-dimensional interactions. Even today, the expression "from other dimensions" sounds spooky. See, they were studying this stuff. Back in the late 19th century. So this study, the quantum occultism, quantum metaphysics, is nothing new. It's nothing new. Einstein, on the other hand, eschewed the supernatural. He believed instead in what he called a cosmic religion, in which natural order is the ultimate truth. Two thinkers that greatly influenced him were the Dutch Jewish theologian Baruch Spinoza, who equated the divine with perfect, immutable order, and Austrian scientist and philosopher Ernst Mach, who stressed that science should be based upon the perceptible. Unseen causal connections, therefore, were unholy. In Einstein's cosmic religion, telltale signs that a theory could not describe all manner of natural phenomenon in an ambiguous way. It was therefore incomplete. And in 1907, 2 years after Einstein completed his special theory of relativity, Hermann Minkowski constructed an elegant way of reworking it using four-dimensional space-time. And at first, Einstein was mortified that his theory had been rewritten in abstract language that sounded like mysticism. The Machian in him sought to eschew higher dimensions in favor of realism. Persuaded by other physicists such as Max von Laue, however, Einstein changed his tune and accepted the four-dimensional version, which he later put to brilliant use in general relativity. Einstein convinced himself that because the fourth dimension was time, it was a realistic theory after all. The world of events forms a four-dimensional continuum. There is nothing mysterious about this, and the last sentence is equally true for classical physicists and the relative theory. Interesting, and it goes into Lovecraft. 1932, Dreams in the Witch House, published in 1932. Ideas in modern physics, such as hidden connections between distant points, were used to scare readers by equating them with witchcraft. Consider this passage from the tale. Possibly Gilman ought not to have studied so hard. Non-Euclidean calculus and quantum physics are enough to stretch any brain. And when one mixes them with folklore and tries to trace a strange background of multi-dimensional reality behind the ghoulish hints of Gothic tales and the wild whispers of the chimney corner, one can hardly expect to be wholly free from the mental tension. And despite Einstein's efforts to avoid the supernatural in favor of tangible, he was often confronted by believers of the occult who wanted him to bless their notions about the afterlife and otherworldly powers. The influential 1927 book, The Experiment with Time by J.W. Dune used relativity as a launching pad for speculations about traveling through time via dreams, astral travel. Interesting stuff. I mean, so this has been this study has been going on for a long time. So anyway, you can get my books on Amazon. You can go to my website, nanapreps.com. You can get my books on my website. You can buy signed ones, or you can get direct links to the Amazon links to get my books on Amazon. But like I said, there is a section where I do have a few here that I can sell you signed at the same price. It just shipping does apply when it comes to the website. You might get free shipping on Amazon. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot to talk about. Don't forget, I'm going to be doing classes in January on quantum life mastery. We're going to delve deeper into the quantum awakening. So if you're going to be interested in taking my classes in January, you're going to want to get this book. Doesn't matter if it's in digital form or physical form, makes no difference. You can try to do the classes without the book, but having the book is definitely going to be an advantage to you as far as referencing material and doing exercises and things like that. So anyway, thank you for joining me today. Here we go. Another week ahead of us. We're going into our new moon soon, here in a couple of weeks. So let's make sure we're mindful of what we want to hold on to and mindful of what we want to get rid of. And don't forget, as always, I want for nothing and I have all that I need. I love ya. Go kick some ass today. Nana Witch out.